Hey guys, Jim Vanosky with Manufacturing Talks. Welcome back. Let me pose a question for today's show. How are manufacturing and car washes connected? If you're thinking they're not, then you're not quite right. I've got Ed Ouellette with Tommy's Express. You may have heard of them, one of the fastest growing car wash companies out there. And he's here to explain why manufacturing is actually a critical part of their business model. He's going to be on with us in just a few seconds. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Manufacturing Talks with Jim Vanosky. Industry has a million cool stories, and Jim talks to the movers and shakers who are making them happen. Let's dive in.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Manufacturing Talks. I'm Jim Vanosky, your host. I have a great show. We're going to talk car washes today, and you're wondering, how does that fit with manufacturing? Well, we got Ed Ouellette with us today. He's the National Franchise Development Manager for Tommy's Express, which I'm sure you've heard of. Welcome, Ed. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to chat with you.
Well, I think it's a fascinating topic and one that is going to be eye-opening for most of our listeners, because I know I, for one, even with my manufacturing background, had no idea of what goes into making a really good car wash. And you guys are all about that, right?
We often say we are the one that kind of sets the pace out there. So,
Yep.
but I don't want to speak for others, but we feel like we're the best.
you can blow your own horn. That's why you're here.
Exactly.
So yeah, we definitely want to dive into that. But before we do, why don't you just give us your background? Tell us how you landed doing what you're doing now.
Absolutely. So, actually, my career started in human resources, part of talent acquisition.
We won't hold that against you.
Okay. It might become relevant later on in the conversation.
Okay.
So anyways, yeah, I did that, done it for about 30 years. And, half of it was as a consultant and the other half has been with corporate America. Great experience, met with a lot of awesome individuals and really, really appreciate that side of my business. So the company that I was at was a manufacturer of automotive stamp components for exhaust systems. And it was about 45 minutes from my home. And I was like, I really want to be a little closer to my hometown. So I started looking. And one of the criteria, I say not one, but several of the criteria I was looking for in a company had to be, in my hometown, had to be growing, had to be family owned and operated. I think that's key. And also had to match my values. So the values for Tommy's is, enriching lives, adding value, serving communities, and this company walks the walk. So it really made it easy for me to come on board.
Good deal.
If I could share a little bit more about that is,
yeah,
my wife was the third employee for Tommy's Express, which is the franchise side.
Wow.
And so I sat on the deck with her many a night talking over this expanding rocket ship type of company. Even though we've been in business for 54 years, it really had a good feel of a startup.
Yeah.
But it had the backing of the bigger organizations. So she knew that they were looking for a recruiter on the Tommy Car Wash System side and put my name in the hat. And here I am today. So
cool. It is interesting, though. I mean, at this point, I think you have to have your head pretty well buried in the sand not to see the phenomenal growth that Tommy's has undergone. And yet, you think about the whole concept of the car wash, they're everywhere. And so talk about creating an opportunity where most people would think one didn't exist. What is it that's driving that phenomenal growth that Tommy's has undergone?
So Tommy's, back to the history, we started as a company that was just doing car wash, convenience store, gas stations,
Mhm.
and did that for a number of years. Grew our brand, our quality car wash brand is what it was. Second generation, we're a third generation company. Second generation came along and he's like, man, we can sell an awful lot of bubble gum and gas. But we can't make as much money as we can in this car wash. The
Yeah.
profitability is so great there. And that's one of the reasons why it's taken, the industry's taken off is
Mhm.
profits. But he's like, I would love to figure out how to process cars better and faster. If we do that, we're going to make more money. So we set out to improve the car wash systems that they had. He did such a great job. He started Tommy's Car Wash Systems, which designs, develops, manufactures the car wash system we have today. And
And let me break in there and say
oh
you
yeah,
just made the tie to our show plainly evident, right? So you launched making some of your own stuff.
exactly, exactly. We did such a great job. Sold it all over the country, all over the world, and then they came to the point where it's like, okay, now we're going to do the car wash system. Let's do a building around it. So right around 2008, 2009, they started to develop this concept, a modular building, and
Yeah.
started selling that. And then third generation, he's like, time out. Our corporate stores are outperforming our non-branded stores
Yep.
by 30, 40%. So we're giving them a fighter jet, but they don't have a pilot to fly this thing.
Uh-huh.
So what third generation Ryan Essenberg said we should really pull it all together, offer up our process, our secret sauce, and so we started franchising in 2016. So we've got 200 open stores now, with probably close to 40 in the works, and
Wow.
promises to do more, probably somewhere 2 to 300 more.
Yeah.
So that are in the works or could be in the works soon.
Amazing. Now you got into it a little about making your own stuff, and it's again, as an outsider looking in, I'm thinking, well, geez, doesn't all this stuff you're making already exist in the marketplace? Wouldn't it be more efficient just to go buy from other manufacturers? How is it that it fits with your business model to do some of your own production of the components that make your car wash systems?
Great question. And I had the a really great experience this last month or the month before last, International Car Wash show in Nashville.
Mhm.
A huge room, that just housed all the different manufacturers, chemicals, you name it, anything that goes into the car wash. And I was flabbergasted. Let me tell you, there's a lot of manufacturers out there of car wash systems, but as I walk through, everybody's got a little different way to do it. But a little biased. I'm like, our system really takes the show, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, anyways, yeah, there are a lot of options out there. There's a lot of manufacturers. Components come from all ends of the world, because to your point, we're not going to design a pump,
Right.
right? There's
Yep.
people out there that can design pumps, do it way better than we can. So our job is to vet the best pump for our car wash system.
Yep.
And then what we'll do is we warehouse it for the expected new washes going in. And then we also have developed a tremendous preventative maintenance program so we can anticipate what the needs are going to be for replacements. So
Yep.
our car wash has over 3,500 parts in it. And
Wow.
so you can imagine, the inventory that we do keep, and we keep it for our franchise partners because the way our modular building is designed, they're just going to have the things that are repeating quicker, cycle
Mhm.
through faster. They're going to have those components on site, but the big
Yep.
ones, we're going to house for them and make sure that
Yep.
they are never down, because we're being operators ourselves for 54 years now. We do. not want to be down ourselves, and we don't want our franchise partners to be down. So that's why
Right.
we house all those components now.
Yeah.
Did I hit all the points on that question, or did I
You
miss something?
No, I think you did, and the one I really wanna stress is just the sheer number of pieces that go into this. You sent over the flyer for your, systems, and I was just flabbergasted even as, an old hand manufacturing guy looking at the things that go into it, everything from the supports for the building itself, right down to things you don't even think about. You're blending your cleansers on site, right? And to do that cost effectively, you have to have a control system that monitors how things are blended, and it's just amazing. If I had thought deeply about it beforehand, it would all make sense, but you don't think about that with a car wash, do you?
No, I didn't really know all that went into it either, until I got here, and I was amazed at all the different things. You look at our 130-foot tunnel, from door to door, it's a machine, right? It's got a
Yeah.
conveyor belt, it's got PLCs, it's got sensors, it has moving components, so hydraulics, pneumatics, you got electrical, plumbing, all kinds of components go into this wash.
Yep.
And when it comes to manufacturing, like we said, we do rely on trusted partners out there.
Mhm.
However, as it makes sense for us, we pull it in. So we started out
Yep.
mainly as a assembly of all the components we purchased,
Yep.
but now as we have continued to grow and expand, and you know, finding good resources and having them repeatable, so good quality, and then have them here on time. If we can manage some of that in house and do some of that in house cost effectively,
Yep.
we're gradually starting to do that. So
Yeah, that
in
here on
house,
time thing is an important one too. We all learned
yeah,
during COVID that things coming from far away don't necessarily arrive when you want them.
exactly. But
Now,
so our manufacturing has moved towards doing more of it ourselves. So
yep,
we
good.
do metal fabrication. Like I said, we're not going to redo a pump. We've got textile group. As you mentioned, we have our blending group. So we actually formulate our own detergents, and
Mhm.
then we blend them. And so the demand on our detergents is great. And as we're in 200 stores, soon to be 500 stores,
Wow.
we have got the systems in place to be able to meet that demand.
Yep, yep. Well, and you've got a system that has to work right every single time. If you send someone through and they wind up with a big gouge in their car, they're not gonna be too happy. But then also, we were talking before we got on, I was just so impressed reading your materials just about the conveyor belt itself and kind of that peace of mind angle of someone pulling into your car wash and feeling comfortable that they're not gonna get things out of whack or cause problems. That to me is really kind of the success story of what drove you guys to do things for yourselves.
That conveyor belt, the concept. Have any idea where that concept came from?
No.
Processing carrots.
Carrots, okay. I was searching my mind for all the different angles in manufacturing I've seen use, conveyor belts, but that one would not have come to mind.
So Tom Essenberg, Ryan Essenberg, highly, highly innovative, and they were they were like my wife. Will openly say she hated the chain and roller system because you got to line up, you got to put your tire in there, and it's clunky, and it could damage the wheel, all that
Mhm.
stuff. So, and a lot of people felt that way.
Yep.
And so they set out to create something that was going to be better, more efficient, and be able to ease that you know anxiety that people had entering the wash.
Yeah.
So they set out, they made that tunnel look, they opened it up. We got translucent ceilings. Most of your car washes are like just a brick and mortar, and it's dark, and it's
Yeah.
claustrophobic. And so
Yep,
we've
the dungeon.
the So we have just opened it up, and it's bright, and there's been a lot of design that have changed over the years. And one of them was the grade of the entry of the car wash, so it's
Mhm.
nice and easy, and it just guides you right onto the conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt eases you through the process. The other thing that conveyor belt did, chain and roller technology might do 70, 80 cars an hour. Our car wash can process 220 cars
Wow.
in an hour.
Yeah, that's a good increase.
Huge increase. So that
Wowee.
gives you a competitive advantage out there.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just thinking about, going back to that peace of mind angle. It's such a great um, example of that entrepreneurial spirit of looking at something where everyone's just said, this is just the way it has to be, right? Pulling
Mhm.
onto that chain where you think you're going to screw things up and damage your car and damage the equipment. You fix it, and all of a sudden everyone's like, well, yeah, that's obvious. Wasn't obvious until those guys thought of it, was
Yeah,
it?
exactly. And
Cool.
now there's some other options out there, and that's just competition, right? But
Yeah,
we do have some
absolutely.
patents on our equipment, and that's part of being innovative too.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that Ryan Essenberg, he wants to be 7, 10 years ahead of our competition. So we're already working on next generation stuff to stay ahead of the competition. We just put a patent on a mat washer that can wash molded mats. There
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
there wasn't anything available. All was flat mats. But all this molded mat technology came out, and it's in manufacturers are doing it, with a automobile you buy right off the floor now. So
Right.
what are you going to
Yeah.
do with that? Can't wash that in a flat mat. So we've set out to figure that out, and we brought it to that car wash show, and people were like just clustered all around this
Yeah.
thing, just excited to see the new technology. They sold like 3 or 4 of them right off the showroom floor. So, people had so much demand for it. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. So, obviously, you've had a lot of success going into making things for yourselves. What have the challenges been? Manufacturing's not easy, as I know from my whole career. Run into any big hiccups with that? All smooth sailing? What?
We've Our biggest challenge, honestly, was we were growing so fast. When I started with the company, we were in 5 different buildings, and then we went to 6. Actually, it was 4, then we went to 5, then we went to 6 different buildings. So logistically, it was a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
It's like, "Where's this? Where's that?"
Yep.
So, Luxembourg's committed to doing a new headquarters, getting us all under one roof, and you know designed a process that was similar to the car wash. As you enter in a car wash, you go through it, and then you come out, and I mean, they just wanted it to be a nice flow of materials in and the materials out,
Mhm.
and the manufacturing in between. So
Yep.
that was just a game changer for us.
Yep.
So with logistics, but manpower, is always something that companies
Oh, yeah.
struggle with. So um, this has been something that's been amazing to me,
Yeah.
because I've worked for some great companies, so very state of the art organization. I've worked for some that are just smaller, mom and pop, companies doing a great job. But this facility, our location, our dedication to what I talked about earlier about enriching lives, adding value,
Mhm.
serving the community,
Yep.
and just offering up a great place to work. It has been something that makes our hiring process way more easier, because we're a
Oh, yeah.
desirable company to be a part of.
Yeah, you have a great story to tell. Definitely cuts through the kind of fog that's out there right now when people have multiple opportunities.
So be coming into this new building has definitely changed some of those difficulties. They still exist out there, and they always will.
Yeah.
Hiring the best and the brightest, but
Yep.
we work really hard to be considered, and I think this year we're get our third award for the best and brightest companies to work for. So yeah,
Yep. I want to go back and stress a point you made, and that is that big challenge with manufacturing was keeping up with your growth. And I know everyone in manufacturing out there, excuse me, manufacturing out there gets that right away. But for those of you who may not be as close to manufacturing, that is beastly difficult to do, is to be going into making your own stuff while you're growing like mad. In the materials you sent over, Ed, there was a quote I just loved. The best way to ensure consistent quality is to make it yourself, which is absolutely right, but then gets that much more difficult when you're trying to grow your manufacturing to keep up with your growing business while you're trying to make quality components, some of them for the first time. So
right.
I applaud you guys for keeping up on that.
Well, it's come with a lot of bumps on the nose,
Yeah.
if you will.
Some late nights and stuff like that.
And but that's what makes it fun too, is you're a part
Yeah.
of it. And you get to see the fruits of your labor, firsthand, and you get to celebrate those together. So that is, key. But
Yep.
yeah, came with a little bit of a cost. The key is making sure that our customers could receive efficiently and reliably all the components that they need to be successful. Because again, a washdown is mission critical for us, and uh, we developed a triage line for any kind of situation. So first thing they could do is call in,
Mhm.
and we could walk them through any issues they have. 80% of what happens in a car wash can be fixed over the phone, but if it's catastrophic, we get a part on a plane or in a truck, and we get them up and running inside of 48 hours. Because
Yep.
you've washed your car, you go to a place and it's like, boy, this car wash is always down. I came to wash my car and it's not.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. And
Very. Yep.
what are they going to do? They're going to start washing their car in their front yard again. We
Yeah.
can't have that.
Yep.
We want them coming through our car wash.
For sure. Um, One last question specific to manufacturing. You've talked to a number of the opportunities you've already gone after. Do you see further areas where you might pull things in-house from a manufacturing perspective?
Certainly, the metal fab side of things,
Mhm.
textiles, as I mentioned.
Yep.
Um, I think that's where we're going to probably see most additions within our manufacturing process.
Mhm.
And again, as we evaluate the different systems and the different components that we use, if we could bring in let's say a stamping piece of equipment or an injection molding piece of equipment to make hosel, a spray hosel, or what have you, I
Yep.
could see us doing something like that down the road. Um, but yeah, that's yet to be determined.
Got it. And then backing up to the full business, I mean, you've talked a lot about the plans for growth. So obviously, there's huge opportunity for Tommy's Express. Um, is that expanding your geographic footprint? Is it increasing concentration? Both? How does that shake out?
So the country is still somewhat of a blue ocean out there. There's certain pockets, certain states that are getting, heavy concentration of a Tommy car wash, but there's a lot of there's a lot of open space out there. Um, the vision of Ryan Essenberg is he'd like to be next to every McDonald's in the country.
Smart. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
So
we're
that's
a ways
huge
off.
opportunity, obviously.
We're a ways off of there. But we designed this building that we're in with that anticipation. We could actually produce over 200 car washes a year out of this facility. We're pacing right around 50, 60, and we're comfortable with that. But like I said, we have a lot of demand out there, so we have the capability to meet that demand
Yep.
if need be. So that was the key. That was the vision of the Essenbergs, and so we're ready for it when the time comes and we go from doing 50, 60 to 100 car washes a year or what have you. So
Yeah. Now, I know you guys are at least partially franchised. Is it all franchise, or do you have company-owned outlets?
We do have company-owned outlets. The concentration of those are in West Michigan, and West Michigan is where we got our start.
Mhm.
So if you go to Traverse City all the way down to the Indiana border, that's where you'll see our corporate stores.
Okay. But your growth is really focused on the franchise side.
Correct.
So, obviously then that's another piece is, um, developing those future franchise owners, right?
Yes. So we probably because we're one of the biggest and best at what we do, and we were the first to come into the tunnel express car wash as a franchise. We were first
Yep.
to this space. We have grown organically in large part, because you Google, franchising and car washes, we're going to be in the top, 4 or 5 that come up, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So automatically we're going to get people that are going to inquire, and come to our website. And so probably get 8 to sometimes 20, depending on what else we're doing advertising wise or what publication we got into.
Mhm.
So, we get a lot of inquiries.
So
Now it's
so not too worried about getting those numbers.
oh, you talk to my manager, we got to get those numbers up all the time. Got to
Well,
figure
yeah.
out how to get more leads, more leads. But yeah, I think it's a great company. We've got a great reputation, and through that, just helps us, to continue to get the word out there. And then, you know, if you go to one of our car washes and you have a great experience, let's say in Michigan, and then you travel down to Florida and you vacation down there, or maybe you winter down there, and you're near a Tommy's, it's like McDonald's, right? You're going to have the exact same experience
Yeah.
and treated the same way and have
Yep.
the same equipment touching your car. We do have competitors out there that just buy, right? They buy, existing car washes, and
Mhm.
there's no consistency through the brand other than the name on the building.
Right.
So
Yep.
we're delivering, that. And then the other thing that helps with that is our franchise partners can share in that revenue if that particular customer's in our membership program.
Got it. Yep. Now it sounds like for you personally, you've landed in a very good place. So sounds like you're going to be hanging out with Tommy's for a while.
I was just talking to my wife. I'm like, I'm coming on to 3 years. It's been just a flash, and it's been so much fun. There's been so much going on, and the really cool thing is, and we talked about this already a little bit, but if I have an idea, it's going to be listened to,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It may not
Excellent.
be incorporated, but we're all about coming up with new and better ways, and you're going to be heard, and that just makes a work environment for me anyways super fun. And talking to guys like you is also a lot of fun.
Oh, good. It's fun on this end too.
But
Excellent. Anything we haven't covered that we need to get out there about Tommy's Express?
um no, I mean, we covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I missed some points, but if you want more information, you can certainly visit us, either at the Tommy's Express website or the Tommy Car Wash Systems site if you are interested in either the equipment or the franchising side.
Yeah, and obviously this being, manufacturing focused, I would recommend everyone check out that the Tommy's Car Wash Systems side because it really is illuminating, even to crusty old manufacturing guys like me, how much goes into this stuff.
Exactly.
Excellent. Ed Ouellette, thank you for joining us. It's been a fascinating tour through what goes into making Tommy's a fast growing brand.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate you.
Yep. And of course, as always, thanks to those of you in the audience. You guys are why we're here. And we are here every Tuesday. I can't promise everything is going to be as fascinating and illuminating as what Ed brought us today, but all of our shows are going to be at least a little fascinating and illuminating. So join us again next Tuesday. Thank you for Manufacturing Talks. So long.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Manufacturing Talks with Jim Benoski. Watch for new episodes dropping every Tuesday. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.